if you have a CEO that created a product that solves an industry problem because he was once a customer, as an example, everybody wants to hear
how you
that.
feel.
I want to hear about that. Why did you start this company? It's the why. People want to know. They don't know. They don't care about the what so much. They want to understand the why. If your why is compelling, why did you start your company? Well, I noticed there was a lack of X in the industry, and I didn't like the way the Y delivery system in our industry worked.
Hello, and welcome to the Influence and Growth Mastery Podcast, where I help high-performing CEOs and entrepreneurs to scale smarter. I'm Tonya Gossage, your strategic growth consultant and the creator of the CEO operating system. Every week, right here, you're going to discover real strategies in referral marketing, authority building, and AI-powered automation that's going to help you attract high-ticket leads and grow smart connections, not cold outreach. From founder to authority, how to brand like a CEO, Monique de Maio is a trailblazing female leader who has dedicated her life to helping women succeed in their personal and professional lives. Monique is the founder and CMO of On-Demand CMO, an impressive 27-year-old business consultancy that operates at the intersection of marketing and sales. She works with Fortune 500 to mid-market technology, tech services, nonprofit, and education with their branding messaging, positioning, content development, and go-to-market strategies and implementations. Monique is a multilingual immigrant from France, a mixed martial arts karate black belt, wow, a fitness wellness enthusiast, an empowering mentor, a speaker, a podcaster called Possibilities with Monique de Maio, award-winning and top-rated author of 7 Secrets to Creating a Life You Love, a practical guide for women in leadership. And I must say that is a must-get book to read. Please join her on her path to creating a life you love. For more information about her, and we'll talk about this towards the end as well, but please visit her at moniquedemaio.com, as well as her business website, ondemandcmo.com. Today, again, we're talking about from founder to authority, how to brand like a CMO. Monique, I am so thrilled to have been introduced to you and equally excited to have you on my podcast.
Thank you so much, Monique. That was a lot to say. My goodness gracious. Who is this woman?
She's a powerhouse. I know that. From the very first time I met you, was like, wow, so impressed.
Well, same, but different, my friend. Same, but different.
Yes.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Yes, it's my pleasure for sure. So I want to start our conversation today. Again, I'm so excited, but why is it important for a CEO to get clear, very clear on their personal why, and how does that affect the brand that they build?
So in everything that I do, whether it's personal branding, professional branding, corporate branding, clarity is everything. And trying to be all things to all people never works. And being authentic to who you really are always works. And people pick up on whether somebody's playing or somebody's serious. Okay. And what happens is CEOs, or especially founder CEOs, have a tendency to want to emulate the big guy in their category. So they say, I want to be like IBM Consulting, and you're a startup. And I want to walk and talk and act like IBM Consulting. Well, you're not IBM Consulting. You're a startup. And you have a special secret sauce that you need to lean into. What is your special secret sauce that you need to lean into? And what's your delivery? And what's your version of that secret sauce? Because maybe Tonya, Monique, and Joe have the same secret sauce, but Joe delivers it very differently than Tonya and Monique. So they need to understand and be clear about who they are, what they stand for, and how they have an approach or a flavor of what they want to do. It's sort of like okay, you know me for a very short period of time, but you kind of get an essence of who I am and what I stand for. If I came to the market with this wishy-washy messaging and a pale pink website and a, kind of a very soft approach to business, and we'll talk about it, and we'll contemplate and meditate over your brand. Are you going to believe that that's in alignment with who I am?
Mm-mm.
So that's the same kind of thing. It's like, okay, who is the founder CMO, or even not founder, just the CEO? It's the CEO, not CMO. What do they stand for? What is their purpose? And who are they trying to serve? And what are they trying to accomplish? And what is it that they want to be different about, and what do they want to be similar about? They have to be clear, because if you're kind of like a no nonsense former military guy, and you've got you've got this going on, and people, and you have the shortcut to whatever optimization, acceleration of business planning, whatever your secret sauce is, whether it's a service, a product, or solution, doesn't matter. You need to be authentic to who that is in the market when you launch your company, because otherwise it's disingenuous. Then what happens? Your sales enablement, your sales process, it's out of whack. People are like, wait, that's not what I thought I was buying. Wait, that's not what your website says. You're just totally not, you're not on brand. You're just not on brand. So you got to be really clear. Who are you? What do you want out of your business? Who are you serving? How are you serving your clients and your customers? If that doesn't align, it's like, whoa, something's wrong, and people are not going to trust you. And that's what the problem is.
I completely agree. I think, number one, it's very confusing. And I have to say, when I first started out, it took me a while to figure out who I was, who I was, what I did stand for, and trying to serve all people, which I think we'll talk about, but trying to serve all people, which then serves no one. But,
that's right.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So be loud and proud about who you are and what you stand for.
Exactly. Because you are. So the thing is, what people don't do, they don't get. And I've had, so many. If I had $100, no, if I had $1,000 for every CEO I've had this conversation with, I'd be very rich. It's, we can serve everyone. I go, no, you can't. Mm-mm. No, you, and nor should you, because here's the thing. If they are not perfectly crystal clear that you are for them and about them, and understand their line of business and their type of product or solution or service, you are nowhere. So you're not, you look desperate, you look unfocused, you look, all sorts of negativity pops up for somebody that's like, oh yeah, well, today I did toothpaste, but tomorrow I'm going to do high-tech services. Are you out of your mind?
Well, here's the thing. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Oh, girlfriend, that is one of my favorite expressions on so many levels.
Because coming from corporate for 34 years, I had so many skill sets, or have so many skill sets.
Right.
And so I was trying to serve them all. Can you do this? Yeah, I can.
Yeah,
can
sure,
you do this? Yes, I can. But it doesn't mean I should.
Well, that's the thing, right? You come across as like a generalist. Nobody wants a journalist anymore.
Yes.
And so it's funny. I just had a conversation with the CEO. I'm onboarding right as we speak. And he was like, you understand my business. You've done this before. I said, yes, I have, sir. Quite successfully. Thank you very much. I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to bat on an opportunity that I know I'm not. First of all, am I going to love it? That's another thing. Where's your enthusiasm? Are you excited about this thing? Are you showing up with gratitude and an attitude that says that you're excited or even engaged in this process and this brand and this company and this sector and this industry? Because if you're not, it's going to show.
Yes. Yes. So I think we'll talk about that a little bit more here in just a few minutes, but I want to talk about, in the face of our businesses, how do we make sure that our personal brand and our business brand actually align?
Yeah. So it's funny. You use human design. I was certified in why. I'm a why coach. So I use the why assessment to get a grip on how is the C-suite, not just the CEO. I usually give it to the top layer of the company if it's small enough. even if there's like 5, 6 people, you want to know how they think. You want to know how they show up. You want to know how they're wired and how they process information and communicate. So what I do is I give them all a why assessment, and I look at the results and I say, oh, okay, so this guy needs a lot of data. This guy needs the high level. Just give me the bottom line. Don't bother me with the nonsense. Don't give me any details. Just give me what I need to know, when I need to know it, how I need to know it. He wants it pre-digested. He wants it simplified. He wants it just made sense. Now the other person needs a lot of trust. So they're not going to give you an entree into how they think or why they think a certain way because they're slow on trust. And for them, if you don't pass certain milestones in this process, they're never going to give you their honest feedback. So you have to know that in advance so you don't take it personally. Like somebody who shows up as a challenge person, like I'm going to immediately say no. Well, if that person immediately says no, they're not being an ass. That's the way they're wired. If you know that, you don't have to take it personally, right? So when you know that that's how they're wired, you take that into consideration as to how you communicate back and forth. So if you have a team meeting, I'm going to talk to Susie differently than I'm going to talk to Monique or Tonya. And then Joe is going to I'm going to stress certain different points with Joe because I know how he's wired, right? Now, then it's, okay, what about the company? The brand of the company needs to be similarly wired, right? So if Joe is a give me the bottom line kind of guy, and his sales process should line up with his brand and how he communicates, because if he's going on customer, prospective sales calls or talking to investors or talking to people that want to do business with him, you can't be fluffy and mushy. Because he's not going to deliver on that promise. So you need to make sure that your tone, your voice, your graphics, your go-to-market, your messaging, your positioning, where you advertise, how you advertise, lines up with what the C-suite is going to deliver when they go to market. Does that make sense?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. So then I guess, as you're going in to talk to them, if you've got multiple in the room, you've got to make sure that you touch on each of those points in your presentation.
Yes. And so you want to make sure that also it's the voice and the brand of the external brand, right? So who's going to be seeing the customer? Who is going to be engaging with them? Who's going to be talking to them? How are we going to be talking to them? What tone and manner are we going to? So when you do your brand identity and your brand guidelines, you really have to take tone, manner, voice, and story into account. And so I spend a lot of time in the upfront building the foundation, because if I build a weak foundation and we're talking about what colors the shutters are, it's stupid. It's just a waste of money, time, and energy. I don't play play like that. It's like, you got to build it. You got to take the time that you need to make sure that your brand aligns with the C-suite or whoever's going to talk to a prospect. If that story doesn't line up, you're not going to be successful.
Well, so talk a little bit more about how the CEO can use storytelling to build that brand and connect with people.
So I think everybody resonates with storytelling, and it's an old, now everybody's talking about that science and those points. The storytelling has to resonate with your prospect and your customer in a way that gets you heard and considered on a better footing. And what do I mean by that? I mean, if you have a CEO that created a product that solves an industry problem because he was once a customer, as an example, everybody wants to hear how you feel. I want to hear about that. Why did you start this company? It's the why. People want to know. They don't know. They don't care about the what so much. They want to understand the why. If your why is compelling, why did you start your company? Well, I noticed there was a lack of X in the industry, and I didn't like the way the Y delivery system in our industry worked. And I didn't like the way that the Z procurement process worked in our industry. And I didn't like whatever. I started my business On-Demand CMO for that exact reason. I didn't like being served by agencies back in the day that gave me a one-size-fits-all solution. It was like, this is your retainer. This is what you're going to pay us. And you're going to get this, 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 and this with that retainer. Well, okay.
I love that.
Okay, but I don't need the Y. I don't need A, B, and C. I need more H and I need a little M, but I definitely don't need ABC because I have a staff that does this and I have this and I that. Oh, well, okay. Well, that doesn't really matter to us. Well, yes, it does. To me, it does because I'm the customer. So if I can't get what I need, when I need, how I need it, I don't want to deal with you. So I created On-Demand CMO in the model and version and truth that I wanted to be served as a client. So, because I knew how clients felt and I said, well, there's got to be a better way. This is the way to do it. So that's the kind of thing where storytelling makes sense because now I can tell my story. Or, women in leadership and women empowerment. Well, I didn't come out of the womb like this. I got a lot of bumps. I got a lot of bruises. I got a lot of black and blues. I got a lot of stuff going on. So how did I get to be the Monique de Maio brand of today? I fell on my face a lot. I got beat up, literally and figuratively. So after these experiences, you become a different person. I had a choice. Do I become a victim or do I rise above and kick some ass? Okay, well, I chose the latter because the other one didn't really serve me, did it? So choice, right? So I think the storytelling and how you got there and why you chose to do certain things as a business owner is so compelling for your end user customer and your buyer because it's true, it's authentic, it's real, it's raw. That's great. Like nobody wants to buy from somebody who's pretending.
No. No, yesterday I was at a networking event and they had asked me to speak and share about my business. And so I had several minutes to talk. And what is interesting is exactly what you're talking about, because as I shared, there was a Q&A at the end. And so they came back and they wanted to know, how did you get into what you're doing? Because I had talked about a transition from what I first started doing to what I'm doing today. And it was the storytelling of how I got to where I am today. And they were so fascinated that then all of the questions came from that point. And so, and then I had several people say, I want to connect with you later on a call because I want to know more about that story.
Yeah. And they want to know more about that story, which is code for, I want to know more about you and how you did it.
Yes.
And when I replicate your journey successfully.
Yes.
That's what that question is. The hidden question in the question is, let's get together. So, and I hate this expression. Please, nobody listening use this expression. Don't ever tell somebody I want to pick your brain. It pisses people off.
Oh, yes.
It's a trigger for me. If somebody says to me, I want to pick your brain, I find it insulting and demeaning.
Yes.
If you're a person that makes your business and your living from ideas and IP, somebody telling you, let me buy you a cup of coffee so I could pick your brain is an insult to your intelligence and your IP. Yes. So when you want to talk to somebody, don't say that.
Yes, absolutely. That is true.
But these people really want to know what you did because obviously if you're doing it successfully, they're like, wow, maybe I can do it too. And there you go.
Yeah, you're right. You are so right. So a lot, we were talking earlier about many of us, and I did it too, trying to speak to everyone and not connecting with anyone. How can people fix that in their business and get extremely clear on what that message needs to be?
Yeah, it's hard. I'll be honest. Listen, in 27 years that I've run this business, I think my first 7 easily were trying to be all things to all people. Because we all make that mistake because we think that that's the right thing to do until you realize it doesn't really serve you at all and clients don't resonate with that. So there's 2 things you can do. One is if you started the business to serve a specific audience, be true to that audience and the purpose that you started it by and with. So if you wanted to serve somebody in an industry that you came from because there was a need or a lack or something in the industry and you created your company, your brand, your message, your service, as a result of fixing that problem, stay in your swim lane. Stay in your swim lane. It's going to serve you. I promise you. look at the ecosystem of that swim lane. Is it resellers that are in that swim lane? Is it, buyers that are tangential to the product that you're selling? Stay in that ecosystem, in that swim lane, so that you can serve and you have credibility. They understand that you understand the industry, the business, the value prop, the problems. Stay in that swim lane. So then if you're, let's say you're a later stage or a mid stage organization and you're stuck and you're plateauing and you're not growing anymore and you don't know why, the probability is that you're trying to be all things to all people. So this is the exercise I run people through. I'll say to the CEO and CFO, we need to do a deep dive analysis on your client base right now. So we all know that the 80-20 rule is usually in effect, and that's fine. So we start with the client list done by most amount of revenues to least amount of revenues. We look at profitability analysis on all those clients based on revenues. We're going to see a relationship. Who is your tall, dark, and handsome? I'll tell you who your tall, dark, and handsome is. The one who gives you the most amount of revenues in the most profitable way. That's your tall, dark, and handsome. Mm-hmm. So then you look at these companies, customers, profiles, avatars, however you want to call them, and say, what do they have in common? Where do they live? Where do they breathe? Where do I find them? And how can I get more of them?
Right.
That's the $1 million question.
Mm-hmm. That is so good. And so then that's how they start moving out of the problem that they're in, because then that's where they need to go focus. That's how they need to fix it all.
That's right.
Yeah. So where does pricing come in? How does that connect? So obviously, if that's where their target needs to be, they're going to see that that's their higher ticket client base.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. So
Maybe
talk
not.
about that. Talk about
well,
that.
You don't know, because if you're running a SaaS company where you're doing subscription services and you've got 3 offerings, typically speaking, people will push the middle level offering. If you're bread and butter, you can't make a decision that premium pricing is the way to go for every brand or every execution of a brand, because it may not be. So depending on how you're selling, what your go-to-market model is, it could very well be that keeping in the middle level of your industry and keeping on the middle level of your package offerings is the way to go, because it's easy peasy and it goes easier and conversion is faster.
Yeah, well, that
quicker. Your go-to-market is more profitable because you don't have any work to do about it or for it. So pricing follows the niche of how am I going to differentiate in my industry, and how are my current most profitable buyers liking me? Where and how are they buying my fill in the blanks, product, solution, service, whatever? And how do I replicate my most engaged, profitable customers in that way? You look at the pricing on those customers, and sometimes it's not the most expensive, because you may be undercutting the guy that's the premium brand in your category. And, you're selling something that is just as good for less money. So maybe you're playing a mass game versus a niche game. So there's not a one size fits all answer on pricing. Pricing is something that you really need to unpack from a business perspective, not a marketing perspective. And that's the part that I start with. I always start with, what are the business objectives? Where are we suffering? Where are we getting friction? And how can we fix it? Pricing, packaging, and product is part of that analysis before you worry about the marketing.
Very good. Well, I was going to ask you if you went through that process with the client and helped them fix their pricing. So answer to that is yes.
Oh, yes. And you want to also bundle. You want to talk about retention, because in marketing, there's only 3 strategies, right? There's acquisition, retention, and growth. And the one that is the sister stepchild to everything is growth. People do not realize the low-hanging fruit in their business is their current client base.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, there is 100% always the case. Your customer is going to relate to you on the thing that they buy from you.
Yeah.
They're not going to remember, know, or care until you make them care that you do these other 2 or 3 things that are completely relevant to their business. They're buying you for the one thing, so they think that's what you do.
Right.
Like for me, we do great content development and lead generation, thought leadership. So that you're great. You do great writing. I'm like, that's great, but that's not the only thing we do. We'll do business analysis and tell you where your pricing, packaging, and bundling is incorrect. Right? Okay, we can do on this side, but we can do this too. So it behooves the business owner to make sure that their sales teams and their go-to-market addresses, do all of your customers know what you could give them? Because the low-hanging fruit is upselling who already loves you. They already love you. How much more is it of an effort to get them to increase their share of wallet, cart, whatever it's called, right? So instead of buying Tonya for one thing, you buy Tonya for three things. She does the three things. You just don't know it.
Yeah. So good. So good. So, oh man, so many nuggets today. I'm sitting here as you're talking, I'm going through all of my things and I'm thinking, wow, there's some things that I need to be thinking about in my own business.
Sure. Yeah.
So as an on-demand CMO who is outsourced like a fractional CMO, but still outside the company, how and why does that help you be more effective, a more effective CMO, sweet contributor?
Yeah. So for me, I love it. I'll tell you why, because I can see the forest from the trees. So right now, the last couple of years, I've focused very much on companies who are stuck and or are looking for an exit strategy or, some sort of a liquidity event. And typically those are founder run companies where the CEO has been a player coach for years. And when I say player coach, meaning he's been in the business, I say he just as they have been in the business for a long time. And they've been in the business, not working on the business. And we know the difference because we're coaches and we're, business consultants, and we understand that distinction. This scenario is 95% of the time, they will tell me, oh, yes, we do marketing. Great. What do you do? Well, we do a little of this. We do a little of that. We do some of that. We do some advertising here. We do some Google AdWords here. And we just did a new website. It's not really driving any leads. Really? Okay. What's your story? Okay. So what I find out is that everything is ad hoc. Nothing ties together. There's no overarching strategy. And when people use the word strategy, by the way, 90% of the time, it's actually tactical. Social media is not a strategy, people. Let's get a grip on ourselves, all right? It's a channel. Just like back in the day, you bought network TV or cable TV. Now you can buy another channel. It's called Facebook or Meta or, TikTok or this and that and the other thing. It's still a channel. It's still media. And you're still trying to drive a message to an audience in a location where they are. Okay, we're clear on this. It's not a strategy. That's just a distribution channel. It's where you put your stuff. It's not how or why you put your stuff. So being an outsider, being a fractional CMO that's outsourced, I can see the forest from the trees. I also typically will have a lot of competitive IP that I know about the industry that I'm talking to this C-suite about, and I'll be able to give them context for the content that I'm providing. So I'll say, well, based on what your competitors are doing, or based on what I know about the industry that is creating a downturn, because right now we're dealing with potential tariffs and and that will impact you in this way and that way. And we need to be proactive about, if this happens, we do this. And if this happens, we do that. Right. So everything ties together. When I create a marketing plan with my staff, it's something that will trickle into everything that they do. So it's unified. It's supporting the overall story. It's supporting the brand. It's supporting the value proposition. And I'm not just doing stuff. I have metrics. I have KPIs. I understand how to manage and monitor the success of different campaigns. So for me, I just think the short answer is forest from the trees, context, competitive. If you've been in your business for 30 years, you've been in your business for 30 years. I've been outside of your business, looking at your business for 35, 40, whatever. And I can give you some insights that you don't see for yourself because you're too down deep in the weeds right now.
Wow. I love that. Let's take one of my clients. I have a client that really needs your services. And that client, let's just say, is extremely working as an employee in their business.
Sure.
and they've got the funds to work with you, and you know the outside of their business. Let's kind of walk through what that whole process would look like, because what I would love to do for you is send some of my clients to you, because I'm not working necessarily in the weeds for my clients. I'm identifying that they're in the weeds, and then I'm wanting to outsource to people like you to help my clients. So share with my clients what that overarching process would look like for them.
Sure. So first, it's perfect for me to know that there is a business consultant who's already identified that there's a problem. So they already have they've brought you in, and presumably if they're listening to you, and they should, because why would they pay? This is another thing. Like, if you're going to bring in a consultant, can you just bloody listen to the consultant because they know better? Like, if you're not going to listen and you're not coachable, I'm not your girl. Right. So let's just start with that. If you don't want to hear that maybe you have, 10 babies and 5 of the babies are really great and 5 of them are babies are ugly. You can't be coached properly. Okay.
That's right.
Nobody wants to say your baby's ugly, but in this case, we're trying to make you more profitable and make you more money. So you got to at some point say there might be some stuff that's not so good. Okay. So you've already come in and identified a couple of ugly babies, and you're like, okay, let's fix them. Right. So to use a really bad analogy. Okay. That's perfect, because you have a company and or a CEO that's hearing you. That's the first part. You have to be willing to hear nothing is perfect, and at the same time, 2 things can be true. We can help you fix it. Okay, great. So you have now identified that this business is not optimal.
Right.
What kind of information are you passing along to me that provides me some context for what I'm going to do as a process? So
go ahead.
No. So
I will have done a time audit, a time scheduling audit, and I will know exactly where they're spending their time and how much time they're spending where. And I will know that their social media is either working or not working. I will know whether they're doing any type of lead generation or not doing lead generation. I will know the metrics or the analysis of their social media. So, there will be things that I have done an audit on of their business, and I will be able to pass that information on to you.
All right. So first things first, this is how it would work. One is I would say, okay, who do you think you compete with? And I would ask them to give me 3 to 5 competitors, key competitors, right smack in their sweet spot. And then what typically happens, Tonya, is I will find other competitors from a keyword SEO perspective that they don't know that they compete with, but are eating their lunch. Just because digitally those people are savvier than they are. But okay, let's put a pin in that for a second. So we identify the competitors, and we do an analysis of positioning, messaging, and SEO. So what is the keywords that your competitors are ranking on? What are the keywords that you might be ranking on? What are the ones that you have not claimed and have an opportunity to claim? And so on and so forth. So we understand contextually the landscape. That's number 1. Number 2, great. How are you doing, and what's your story, and how do you differentiate, and is it working? I can tell you that after I look at the competitors, I look at the landscape, I probably understand their business, or I wouldn't have probably been brought in. And then I say, okay, you walk, talk, and act like competitor A and B. That's a problem. All right. So next step, let's look at your customer list. Let's look at who your tall, dark, and handsomes are. Let's look at where your revenues are coming from. Let's look at where your profits are coming from. Is it by product or service, or is it by industry, or both? We need to dissect where you're getting traction and why. And if we understand where you're getting traction and why, then we can replicate and model and reverse engineer more clients like that 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 that is driving the majority of your profitable business. Because business is business, but if it's not profitable business, we don't want it. So I spend a lot of time with the C-suite understanding their P&L. And remember, I'm an MBA first, and then I worry about marketing. I haven't gotten to the marketing yet because I don't know what your business problem is, and I don't know who we're chasing. So for me to tell you about your social media is kind of pointless at this stage of the game because I don't know which baby's ugly, right? Is it your
Right.
products? Is it your solutions? Is it your packaging? Is it your pricing? Are you chasing the wrong kind of customer? I need to understand all of that before I give you a marketing solution. Next step, look at your marketing. Okay, you got some this, a little bit of this, you got no lead gen, you got no premium content, you got no thought leadership, you don't have a brand, your CEO doesn't have a brand, nobody knows him or her. Okay, so we got a little bit of problem with the products, we got a little problem with the C-suite because we don't know them, we don't trust them, we're not out there with the story. So then we come up with the marketing plan, we come up with the positioning, what's the messaging, what's going to show up in all of your marketing, what's going to show up in your sales pitch, in your website, in your social media, in your LinkedIn profile, and any ads you do. What is your story and why should we care? That's the next step. And then we go to market. So you got to do all that stuff because if you build the wrong foundation, you're chasing an ugly customer. Nobody wants to do that. That's the process.
Phenomenal. I love it. Start with the basics.
Yeah, start with the basics. You got to look at your data. Your data does not lie. If you were really, and if you, okay, so here's another thing, just a quick note. Some companies, founder-owned, typically, will have a little bit of a problem identifying profitability. That is something I make them do. So I said, look, I don't want to just focus on your revenue because revenue can lead you down the wrong path.
Mm-hmm.
Did it take you all year and all of your resources to support that one customer that gave you that $1 million? Because if the answer is yes, you're better off with 4 clients at 250. Right? So you have to look at your service delivery model. You got to look at what is profitable and what can your organization fulfill on. Because oftentimes, and I just had this same client that I'm onboarding right now, he's like, well, we're targeting 250 to $1 billion. I said, absolutely not. I'm not working with you. If you're targeting 250 to $1 billion, I'm not your girl. Because the go-to-market on $1 billion profit client customer is a completely different engagement model than a 250. So we can't play that game. You cannot be enterprise and mid-market at the same time and be effective and successful. So you need to know who you are. And I help them figure out who they are.
Wow. So impressive. So impressive. You're a powerhouse, girl. You're a powerhouse. You are. Yes. Okay. So before we end today, is there anything additional about branding, marketing, content creation that we've not talked about that you want to leave with the audience today?
Yeah, I think the one thing I would say is don't assume that your marketing is strategic. Just because you're doing marketing and you're spending money doesn't mean it's effective. And so you really need somebody that doesn't have a vested interest in selling you something. And let me give you an example of what I mean by that. We're completely agnostic. I don't get paid if you have HubSpot, if you have WordPress, if you have Google AdWords. I don't get paid like that. But if you're buying or you're using an agency that gets paid on clicks, my friends, you are going to get a lot of clicks because that's how they get paid. If you have an agency that gets paid on selling a HubSpot, you're going to have HubSpot. Guess what? That's how it works. If you have an agency that sells Salesforce, you're going to have Salesforce. So you need an agnostic, non-partial view of what you're doing in all areas to get a holistic view of what you could be doing differently and better. And you have to look at follow the money. Do not let yourself get sucked into somebody that's a social media agency is going to tell you that the strategy is social media. It may not be right for you. But if you're talking to somebody who's selling digital marketing, well, then you're going to get digital marketing. And that'll be the swim lane that you're going to be forced into. That may not be right for your brand. It may not be right for your business. So you need somebody that's going to say, you got 5 great babies and these guys need some work. So let's give them a little PT, shall we? So you just need to be clear. What you're doing may or may not be the right thing. Get somebody in the room that has no dog in the race, that has no skin in the game, that can tell you what's good and what's not. That would be my advice.
Wow. So good. So good. Do you have any favorite quotes? I just have to ask. I just have to throw this in. Do you have any favorite quotes?
Oh, favorite quotes. Well, it's funny. I just came up with one the other day because I had an experience with somebody who I actually, I thought he was just kind of full of himself. And I said, anyone can bestow a title upon themselves, but true leadership is shown in how they treat others and collaborate with those around them.
Yeah. Say that one more time. I have to ask you to say it one more time.
Absolutely. Anyone can bestow a title upon themselves, but true leadership is shown in how they treat others and collaborate with those around them.
Wow. Such power. Wouldn't you guys agree? She's a powerhouse. Wow. So how do people get in touch with you, Monique?
So I can be found on LinkedIn, Monique de Maio, DEMAIO. I always like to say that, or MoniqueDeMaio.com or OnDemandCMO.com. Pretty findable, but just drop me an email, send me a LinkedIn request, let me know how I can add value to what you're up to, and hopefully we can make it better.
You have a women's retreat coming up. Do you want to mention that?
Thank you for mentioning that. I do. I have a women's retreat, which basically takes people like Tonya away for 3 days and has them look at their life, business and personal, and figure out how they can, create a life of intention. So my book, which I wrote, now it's going to be 2 years in October, Creating a Life You Love, is the baseline for intentionality. And so if we do a couple of small things in our worlds, women will show up fully expressed and having a great life. And life is not simple, but it can be made easier. So the retreat is meant to break down like where you're sensing friction, where you're trying to be a better version of yourself, where your life isn't working, where your life is working, so we can do more of it, creating joy, scheduling things that give us joy, doing all the things that have us just feeling and, just being happier. Mm-hmm. And who doesn't want to be happy? So the last retreat I did was in October. This one is May 2nd to 4th in New Jersey on the beach. So I have 2 spots left. So hopefully somebody wants to give me a shout. It is an application only because I want to make sure the right women are in the room. And if you're not up to something and you just want to, contemplate your navel and be stuck in excuses why your life sucks and you don't want to change, I'm not interested in having you.
Only the best. She only takes the best, and I don't blame her. Her book is phenomenal. Highly recommend it. As soon as I found out about it, I grabbed it and started listening. It's wonderful. Thanks. So for those of you listening, if you have gained even one tip, one aha moment, or something that you could take and create a strategy, I want you to leave it in the comments, or even better, share this podcast with someone who needs to hear it. You will be a great friend for doing it, I promise. Making deposits into someone else's success is a great thing. We appreciate you for joining today. And until next week, I want to challenge you. Take action on at least one thing that you took away from today. Information without action gets you absolutely nowhere. I'll see you again soon. Bye. I love you. Thanks for tuning in to the Influence and Growth Mastery podcast. If you're ready to attract high-ticket leads, scale with AI, and grow through powerful referral networks, visit my website, GossageConsulting.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with any CEO who is ready to simplify, scale, and succeed without the burnout. Until next time, stay influential and keep building smart connections that drive the real growth. See you soon.